History isn't just dates and names on a page. It's the silent gaze of men who stood where we stand today. What did it actually feel like to be there in 1860? From the first sparks of defiance to the final heavy silence of the surrender, we've gathered 40 of the most powerful moments ever captured on a camera lens. These frames hold the soul of a divided nation. Today, the past speaks. Are you ready to listen? Take a look at this haunting moment. March 1862 at Henry Hill. Confederate graves lie silently near a waterhole. Do you see that wooden headboard? That is the final resting place of James T. McCorkle, a young schoolteacher, only 27 years old, from the legendary Stonewall Brigade. War stole the future of a man of books, leaving an eternal shadow over this ground at Bull Run. You are witnessing one of the rarest glimpses of Chickamauga, Lee and Gordon's Mills in 1864. Photographer George Barnard captured this view while moving southward toward Atlanta. Why is it so precious? Because very few photographs of this battlefield actually exist, making this building a classic symbol of a fiery era. A strange, haunting stillness amidst the echoes of some of the most intense engagements in history. Next is a truly unique frame, the peculiar twin houses along Williamsburg Road. This is often the only photo used to discuss the intense Battle of Seven Pines. Look closely at the background. Men are drilling, while others are caught sleeping next to a lumber chest. These structures were meant to be wings of a much larger mansion, but war turned them into silent witnesses to the bloody history surrounding Richmond. This is the Marshall House in Alexandria, witness to a classic tragedy that fueled the early war. Do you see the flagpole atop the roof? Right there, Elmer Ellsworth tore down the Confederate flag and became the North's first martyr, only to be shot dead on the stairs by proprietor James Jackson. This event sent shockwaves through a public hungry for war news. The structure is long gone, but the story of Ellsworth's sacrifice remains a fiery chapter of Civil War history. Look at this powerful contrast. Children sitting quietly amidst the ruins of Charleston, once called the cradle of secession. Do you see the crumbling pillars of the circular church? This photo is often used to demonstrate a new world for those experiencing freedom for the first time. Though these ruins were partly from a fire in 1861, the presence of these children creates a priceless message of rebirth from the ashes of war. Look up at the sky of 1862. Professor Thaddeus Lowe is ascending in his balloon near Fair Oaks. Do you see the soldiers below holding the tethers? This was one of the greatest technological innovations of the era, used for aerial reconnaissance. Though the balloon craze was short-lived due to limited military effectiveness, this view remains a classic symbol of the ambition to conquer the air amidst the smoke of war. Step back in time to February 1861 in Montgomery, Alabama. Before you is the inauguration of Jefferson Davis, the President of the Confederacy. If you look closely between the columns on the lowest level, you can spot Davis himself and Howell Cobb. This shot is often paired with a Lincoln's inauguration, showing the unfinished dome of the U.S. Capitol, a symbolic moment of confrontation, marking the deepest divide in American history. Face this gigantic machine of destruction, the famous mortar known as the Dictator at the Petersburg front. Do you see the soldiers posing nearby to highlight its incredible scale and the massive cannonballs? This piece represents the technological dominance of the North during siege operations. A monster of iron and steel, weighing over 17,000 pounds, capable of spreading terror from a distance. A classic image proving the sheer intensity of total warfare. A classic portrait with powerful poses. Look at this group of Union officers outside their tent. Do you see the man lounging on the ground with a dog? That is a young George A. Custer, who would later achieve immense notoriety. The smoking pipes, buckets, and papers create an incredibly authentic campaign atmosphere. This photo is more than just art. It is a piercing glimpse into the lives of commanders amidst the heat of a brutal war. Behold the brilliant military minds. General Winfield Scott Hancock and his division commanders at Cold Harbor in 1864. Do you recognize the 2nd Corps headquarters flag in the background? Note the distinctive Arabic numeral instead of the usual Roman one. This is considered the best photo of Hancock, the legendary Union general. They stand there, silent after the most intense attacks of the 2-week battle, a moment of grit and authority deep within the woods. Don't miss this hidden corner of history. Wounded Native American soldiers resting atop Mary's Heights at Fredericksburg. Do you know who they are? These are members of Company K, 1st Michigan Sharpshooters, brave and skilled marksmen. This view is often used to depict the vital contributions of Native Americans during the war. A silent moment amidst the wounds, witnessing the diversity and loyalty found on the Civil War battlefields. Behold one of the most debated frames, General Ulysses S. Grant and his staff on Lookout Mountain. This shot is often used to illustrate Grant's rugged rise just before he became Lieutenant General. But look closely. Is that really a cigar in his mouth or just a stray branch caught in the frame? Despite the lingering mysteries surrounding the identities in this shot, its presence remains a classic symbol of grit and determination amidst the harsh terrain of the war. Immerse yourself in this atmosphere of triumph. May 1865, the Grand Review marches up Pennsylvania Avenue. Do you see the famous Willard's Hotel on the left and the U.S. Capitol in the distance? Leading the victorious troops is General Henry Slocum as thousands of soldiers march amidst the cheering crowds. This photo is a classic symbol of the war's end, a moment of great transformation as peace is finally restored across the United States. Observe this strategic position at Antietam, captured shortly after the bloodiest day in American history. Do you see the temporary graves marked in front of the stone wall? This view perfectly shows the dominating Confederate position above the bridge. In the distance lies Antietam Creek and the young sycamore tree, which has grown into the eternal witness tree we see today. A hauntingly silent landscape that once stood as the epicenter of a brutal and fierce engagement. Look at this fortified defense system at Kennesaw Mountain Battlefield Park in 1864. Do you see the U.S. earthworks in the foreground with Little Kennesaw Mountain and Pigeon Hill rising in the distance? This is among the most common views of the Atlanta campaign, witnessing the stalemate and intensity of trench warfare. Every rock and every log bears the mark of a fiery confrontation, where the rugged terrain became the ultimate challenge for both sides. Behold the stature of the victor at Gettysburg, General George Gordon Meade standing boldly in the field. Do you see this distinctive uniform, with his unique hat, tall boots, and an incredibly determined pose? This is the most frequently used photograph to portray this brilliant general across historical records of the war. A silent frame that radiates power, witnessing the grit of the man who turned the tide of the Civil War at its most critical moment. Look into these charismatic eyes. Rose Greenhoe, the famous Confederate spy, with her young daughter in the old Capitol prison. Do you know the tragic story behind this? After her release, she died at sea, reportedly weighed down with gold she refused to abandon. This photo is often used to depict the world of spying and the civilian connection to the military. A silent yet powerful moment, witnessing a life dedicated to a cause, even while behind the bars of an enemy prison. Face this brutal reality. An overview of Anderson Prison in 1864 witnessed to the greatest number of dead prisoners. Do you see the notorious dead line haunting the right side? This image captures the terrible living conditions, showing latrines in close proximity to the tiny watercourse used by men. Almost every book on the war uses this shot to illustrate the ultimate human tragedy, a place where existence was more fragile than ever amidst hunger and disease. Look at the steadfastness of these men, United States colored troops on picket duty at Dutch Gap, Virginia. Although this scene may have been posed for the camera, its composition remains absolutely stunning. Do you see them aiming with bayonets fixed? This is a classic image frequently used in books to discuss the profound difference and contribution Black troops made during the war, a powerful testament to the pursuit of freedom and their unyielding spirit on the battlefield. Look at these rugged faces, the scouts and guides of the Army of the Potomac at Berlin in 1862. Do you see the grit in their irregular attire and their vigilant gaze? These men were the silent but critical links, holding the lifeline of intelligence on the battlefield, a rare frame capturing the toughness of those on the front lines, witnessing a side of the war defined by shrewdness and constant danger amidst the brutal conflict.
Look at the brutal reality of the war's aftermath. April 1865, Black soldiers performing the grim task of reburying remains from Gaines Mill and Cold Harbor. Do you see the skeletal remains gathered on that stretcher? This photo captures the heavy price of war and the critical role of Black soldiers and civilians in burial operations. A haunting but powerful frame reminding us of the eternal scars left by the Civil War on the grounds of Richmond. Behold the stature of a powerful general, William T. Sherman leaning against a Parrott rifle outside Atlanta in late 1864. Do you see the determination in his gaze after the city fell to his forces? This photo is frequently published to discuss the Atlanta campaign or anything regarding the complex man that was Sherman himself. A silent yet heavy moment, witnessing the iron will that turned the tide of the Civil War across the South. Witness one of the first and most authentic glimpses into battlefield medicine, wounded soldiers from the Battle of Gaines Mill being tended to at Savage Station, Virginia. Do you recognize the distinctive headwear of the 16th New York Infantry amidst the crowd? This image is frequently hailed by historians as the best representation of Civil War field hospitals, a scene of chaos yet deep humanity where life and death were separated by a mere fraction of a second amidst the fires of a brutal war. Look at these classic landmarks. Above is Libby Prison in Richmond, tied to tales of escapes and the eventual fall of the Confederate capital. And below, do you see the round tops at Gettysburg? This view is often used to discuss the bloody second day of the battle, featuring the wagon of Mataba photographer Matthew Brady. These frames are more than just records. They are witnesses to moments that shifted the nation's destiny amidst the smoke of the Civil War. Observe this unique perspective, captured from a Appomattox church window after the brutal Battle of Spotsylvania. Do you see General Grant busily writing an order and General Meade examining a map or newspaper? This is one of 3 precious photos known as the Council of War, depicting the upper echelon of command during the Overland Campaign. In the distance, the army continues to move along the road, creating a priceless scene of calm leadership amidst the relentless momentum of war. Look at the contrast between these 2 frames. Above is a lovely winter scene at Fort Richardson with the flag waving in the cold wind. And below, do you see the excitement of a cockfighting scene at General Orlando Wilcox's headquarters in Petersburg? These are rare moments of everyday life captured, depicting how soldiers sought entertainment amidst the tense days of the siege. These images offer a multi-dimensional view of life behind the front lines, where men still tried to find joy amidst the smoke of war. Face this ultimate brutality. A Confederate soldier lies dead in the trenches at Petersburg in April 1865. Do you see the splintered wood and the utter devastation of the fortification? This was one of 3 most shocking photos taken by Thomas Roche right after the Union Army broke through the lines. This image captures the direct tragedy of hand-to-hand combat, where soldiers fought and fell at their final post of defense. A haunting moment, but the naked truth about the cost of the Civil War. Look at this gigantic scar on the earth, the crater at Petersburg after the massive explosion in July 1864. Do you see the ruined fortifications and the terrible destruction caused by the gunpowder?
This was the result of a bold plan to break the Confederate lines, but it ultimately led to a bloody tragedy for the Union Army. This image is a classic symbol of the stalemate in trench warfare, where every advance was paid for with countless lives lost in deadly traps. Behold a highly iconic frame, Vermont soldiers at Camp Griffin outside Washington during the early days of the war. Do you know how famous this photo is? It adorned the cover of Ken Burns' book and even hung on the wall of Jerry Seinfeld in the hit show. This classic image of soldiers lined up beside rows of white tents captures the scale of early war mobilization, a silent moment before the storm, witnessing the readiness of young soldiers before they entered the brutal conflict ahead. Look at the eagerness of these young men. The Richmond Grays gathered around Charleston around the time of John Brown's trial. Do you recognize the man standing at the left center? He has been identified as John Wilkes Booth, the man who would later assassinate President Lincoln. This image is often published to depict the readiness of future Confederates as they play for the camera. A silent yet haunting moment, witnessing the fateful intersection of individuals who would soon become central figures in the bloody conflict ahead.
Look at this rare moment of entertainment, a lively cockfighting scene at General Orlando Wilcox's headquarters during the Siege of Petersburg. Do you see the soldiers and black men gathered around in total excitement? This image is one of two incredibly famous frames depicting the spiritual life of soldiers behind the lines. A silent break amidst the constant shelling, witnessing the human effort to find simple joy even during the most tense moments of the war. Look at this incredible contrast. A family, including women and children, living right in the trenches at Petersburg in 1864. Do you see the makeshift homes built alongside the defensive earthworks? This image is often used to illustrate civilian life caught in the crossfire and the remarkable resilience of humans under harsh conditions. A silent yet powerful frame, witnessing how life persists and endures even in the most dangerous places of the Civil War. Witness the terrible destruction of war. The passenger depot in Atlanta after the city's fall in 1864. Do you see the blackened chimneys and the ruins of the burned-out rail cars? This is a powerful testament to General Sherman's scorched earth strategy, aimed to paralyze the South's transportation lifeline. This scene of devastation frequently appears in every account of the Atlanta campaign, a classic symbol of the collapse of a vital logistics hub, marking a tragic turning point in the Civil War. Witness these strategic minds. The artillery staff of the Army of the Potomac gathered at Brandy Station in 1863. Do you see the presence of the most talented artillery commanders, including General Henry J. Hunt, standing at the center? This is one of the most classic images depicting the rigorous organization and technological power of the North. These men were the coordinators of fire, creating the rain of steel that decided the outcome on the most brutal battlefields. Look at the scene of the beginning, Fort Sumter, right after its fall in April 1861. Do you see the cannon tubes, stacked cannonballs, and the shelling damage? Notably, observe the first national Confederate flag flying on a makeshift flagpole. Publishers frequently use this image to illustrate the spark that ignited the war. A silent yet shocking frame, witnessing the historical moment when a nation's division officially turned into a bloody armed conflict. Look at the vigilance of these men. At Fort Brady along the James River in 1864, do you see the Union soldiers gathered beside the massive cannon, ready to repel any attack? This captures the raw reality of life at defensive hotspots during the final stages of the war. A silent moment filled with determination, witnessing the persistence of soldiers amidst the mud and gunpowder, guarding the strategic lifeline leading straight into the heart of the Confederacy. Look at the resilience of this structure. Shirley House standing tall above the dugout quarters of Logan's division at Vicksburg. Do you see the makeshift shelters carved into the hillside to escape the shelling? This is hailed as the best battlefield photo of this location, frequently published in historical accounts. The fact that the structure still stands today only adds to the photo's classic fame, a powerful testament to the intense siege, where the line between a family home and the trenches was separated by a mere fraction of a second. Look at this historical crowd. The consecration of the Gettysburg National Cemetery in 1863. Do you recognize President Abraham Lincoln standing among the dignitaries on the left? This is the only photo certainly including him at the site where he delivered the immortal Gettysburg Address, changing the course of American history. This moment was only discovered in the 1950s, making it one of the most precious records ever found. A silent yet powerful frame, witnessing the birth of the words that defined the values of freedom for an entire nation. Look at these raw faces. Men of the 6th Corps resting south of Fredericksburg in May 1863. Do you see the non-commissioned officer in the foreground who helped define the classic image of what a Union soldier looked like? Though often miscaptioned as being at Petersburg, this remains one of the most prolifically published photos depicting soldier life and trench warfare. A silent yet powerful moment, witnessing the resilience of ordinary men amidst the struggle of the most brutal war in American history. Behold the place where history was settled. Wilmer McLean's house at Appomattox Courthouse in 1865. Do you know the extraordinary story of this man? The war began in his front yard at Bull Run and ended right in his parlor. This photo of Wilmer McLean and his family on the front porch has become a classic symbol of the Civil War's conclusion. A silent frame filled with healing, witnessing the moment the last shots fell quiet and a new era for the nation officially began.
40 moments, 40 lives caught in the tide of history. These images remind us that every step toward the future is paved by the stories of those who came before. The faces may have faded, but the legacy remains. Which of these frames resonated with you the most? Tell us your thoughts below. If you want to keep the spirit of history alive, support the channel by liking and subscribing to Vintage Shots. Until next time, keep looking back.